Thank you. Welcome to the St. George Area Chamber of Commerce Training Luncheon. My name is Pam Palermo. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the president of the St. George Area Chamber, and I'm so glad to see all of you here today. We have a full house and then some. We have an overflow upstairs. Hello, everyone upstairs. Wave, guys. They can see what's going on right now upstairs. So, I have a couple of announcements to make. Get out your phones, pencils, papers. This Friday is our last movie in the park in Washington City for this year. Free booths are available. We've got Batman Legos movie. Woohoo! I haven't seen it yet. I'm so excited. It starts at 7 o'clock. The movie actually starts when it gets dark. I don't know what's wrong with this. Let me just take it out. Okay. So the movie actually starts at dusk, but there's all kinds of games and things for children. We get quite a few people that come out to that. We should have some food trucks, so come out and join us. If you want a free booth space to advertise your business, let Susie Lafayette know before you leave today, and she'll get you signed up. Saturday, young professionals, 40 and under. Not that I really want to know your names. Raise your hands right now, 40 and under. All right. So young professionals, we have a tailgate. Yeah, I can't raise mine. We have a tailgate party this Saturday at Dixie State University. It's their first home game. Come out and support them. We're going to have a barbecue out there, and it's free. We've got 15 free tickets to the game left. First come, first serve. So make sure you sign up for it online on our calendar. Tuesday, September 19th, is going to be a huge networking, speed networking at the Falls Event Center. Make sure you sign up for that. You have to register because we have to know how many people are coming. We've got Hawaiian food. We have prizes. It's free. Come network. It'll be a lot of fun. And then it's that time of the year. I've been hounding on the denim for dollars. We have jars here available. Take one home to your business today. Actually, business is home. We spend more time at business than we do at home, so I guess it is home. Take one home, and you don't have to do denim. Be creative. Do something else. If your place of business cannot wear denim and it's just, grab one anyway. The proceeds go in December to our nonprofit of the year, which will be the Learning Center this year. So let's help them out. Also, if you haven't gotten your booth space yet or sponsorship for our Taste of Dixie, we've got 2 large 2-day events in October, 2 weekends in a row. Yes, we're trying to kill ourselves. Or I'm killing my staff, one or the other. So I may have some job openings here soon. Anyway, if you don't have your booth space yet for Taste of Dixie, that's the 20th and the 21st, Friday and Saturday. Get that now. We expect probably about 10,000 people. We get that every year used to be Taste of Dixie, went to Spooky Town Fair, and now it's back to Taste of Dixie. So it'll be in Washington City this year down in the ball fields. If you are an artisan, we have free booth space for you on an entire field. If you are a maker, meaning if you make something, anything, we are going to have a lot of fun on another baseball field where you'll have free space available to show your wares, what it is that you do, and there'll be tons of kids out there. We've got a lot of maker stuff for them to do, so come out and join us for that. The next one is our retreat for our coalition. So for those of you who don't know, we have a chamber coalition. Starts all the way up in Richfield, Parowan, all that area up there, goes all the way down to Mesquite. We've adopted Mesquite. Hilldale and Colorado City just started their own chamber, so they're part of our chamber. We've got 15 chambers in this coalition. We have a one-day retreat that ends in a movie and dinner at Tuacahn. We'll see Thriller. The next day we have a golf tournament. So it'll be our first annual golf classic, but this is our 3rd year for the retreat. So excited about that. That's in October. So today's sponsor is a Small Business Development Center. We've been really sending a lot of people over lately to the Small Business Development Center, and They have just been phenomenal, and Jeff is here today to kind of talk about what's going on. Jeff?
Thanks, Pam. For those of you who know Len Erickson, I work with him. That's the best way to introduce myself. Len is taking some much enjoyable vacation right now, so I'll be here today. I want to tell you a little bit about who we are, give you a few numbers so that you know what kind of an impact and effect the SBDC has on our community. We do appreciate the Chamber and all that you do to encourage people to come over and visit with us. By way of tooting horn, we have been the top Utah center for 2 of the last 4 years. I just think that they don't want to give it to us every year to spread it around, and that's fine with us as well too. We're just happy to be able to do what we do. You might notice one of those beautiful faces on there with the others. This last year, Steph and Josh Bevins from Design to Print were given the Utah Small Business People of the Year Award for the first time in southern Utah. So, and it was well deserved, and it was based on a visit that we received by our regional 6-state director, who visited their facility and basically when they walked out said, nominate them. So we did, and Steph, congratulations to you. This is a little bit of the economic impact that we've had on our business community in the last 4.5 years. What we do is no cost to you as small and medium-sized businesses and some big businesses that we work with. So we do a lot of impact, and we do it very quietly. What we do is have you sign a Form 641, which is always because of government work that we do. It's a confidentiality agreement that when we work with you, we don't tell anybody about what you do unless you want us to shout out for you. We don't charge you because we're funded through the Small Business Administration, through local universities. Ours is Dixie State, and we also get some funding through GOED, the governor's office. The question of the day: how do business owners and employees make your business or organization more profitable? We all have to be in business, whatever we're doing, to make a profit, because if not, we all have to be looking for jobs. So I want to give you a couple little pointers that you can be thinking about. What would a 1% difference make to your income statement if you could increase your revenues just 1%? You could decrease your cost of sales 1% and your overheads 1%. Anybody want to take a crack at it? 4%? Here's a little example. By way of that's a good guess, but this is the impact that little things have. If you take this example and you increase your revenues 1%, decrease your costs and your overheads 1%, in this example you've just dropped 125% to the bottom line. That's significant, isn't it? And that's how much a little bit can do to make your business grow. So when you're talking about how do I grow this, it's revenues, it's decreasing our costs, it's decreasing our overheads. So any of us could probably look at that and say, I can do this or I can do that. That might be a big impact to what you do with your total business. The question is, how will you contribute to your successful organization? That will be up to you. We have some information always that we're willing to share and provide. We'll look at income statements and balance sheets as to how we can help you encourage you with your marketing or your sales or your costs or any kind of those things. And today, one of the things that we're going to be doing is hearing about using LinkedIn as a way of helping us grow our businesses. So with that, I will turn the time over to Mr. Brendan.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks so much. Okay, so if you've not been to a training yet with Brendan Dalley, you are really in for a treat today. Brendan, also known online as the Dalai Lama, has been recognized as Utah's premier social media and marketing consultant. He is the president of Networker.io, a networking app designed to help Chamber of Commerce's and other organizations build and grow their business relationships. He is also the owner of Dalai Lama Marketing, a social media and marketing consulting company. He's the editor-in-chief for the New Southern Utah Business Magazine and an adjunct faculty member at Dixie State University, where he teaches interpersonal communication, public speaking, strategic marketing, and a human relations management course. Brendan has an MBA, a bachelor's in education, another bachelor's in information technology, certified in Lean Six Sigma, and has various marketing mastery certifications. On any given day when he's not working, you'll find him on the golf course with his favorite golfing partner, his wife, who's with him here today. Please help me in welcoming Brendan Dalley.
All right, hey, some of you, well, a lot of you, just part of one of the other many things that I do, I just came from Corporate Alliance. I get to help with Paul Hatch and run the events there. So there's actually quite a few of you that have already had to deal with me once this morning over at Corporate Alliance. So again, what I reminded you over there, just laugh at my jokes, give me some applausing, Chris specifically, you know, help me out with some of that stuff, get everybody going with that. So today we're going to talk a little about LinkedIn and how to grow your business. LinkedIn has gone through some major changes in the last little while. How many of you currently have a profile on LinkedIn? How many of you actively use LinkedIn? How many of you just have like total knowledge of what LinkedIn is all about and how it really works? Okay, a little bit. Okay, it's probably more than I do with some of this stuff because LinkedIn keeps changing, and they actually just went through some really cool changes most recently. So I want to share a couple things that I found that really kind of help set up and understand what LinkedIn is about. And of course, it always starts with a meme. So, sorry, my LinkedIn profile reveals just how unprofessional I really am. It comes across, and actually, you'd be surprised with how many people come across on LinkedIn as extremely unprofessional because they don't quite understand how LinkedIn is being used and some of the stuff that they're posting on there as well. It's one of my favorites here. I don't know who you are. LinkedIn is a great stalking tool. There's some great things in the business world. Stalking in business, of course, that comes with it. Right there. Yes, I stalked you on LinkedIn. In fact, I just talked to my wife. She just recently went through and stalked a whole company and found everybody within a company that they needed to contact over at Bosch. This next one is a little bit offensive to some people. And I have just recently learned that I have been offensive to people a lot on some things. But I found this hilarious. And so just laugh even if you're offended by it. But it's a Caddyshack, so you may not even get it if it's kind of an older thing with the Caddyshack thing, but so I got that going for me, which is nice. That's one of the greatest Caddyshack lines out there as well. So, but apparently that could be offensive. And then one more, of course, just the look here. We get some random connections with some things, and wondering if that's who I want to connect with on my professional network. So that kind of sums up LinkedIn. I'm done. Any questions? Yeah, that's how we feel about LinkedIn. So the big thing about understanding with LinkedIn and what it does is if you're looking to grow your business through networking, LinkedIn is only one tool that you use. And the one thing that I tell people, especially when it comes to social media and social media marketing, is there are a lot of people out there who just say, man, social media marketing is the way. You've got to be social media. It's all on social media. And my answer to that is, no, it's not. Social media marketing is just a tool that you use, and it's a tool of a toolbox. And LinkedIn is just one of those tools. And LinkedIn has changed with what's going on. And we're going to talk about some of the specific cheats. This is a topic that I could talk about, and you could do just massive trainings to really dive into all the little things that LinkedIn is doing. Last year, I attended the LinkedIn conference down in Las Vegas and got to hear of all the cool things that they're going through. And they're going through a lot of those big transitions as well with their being bought out by Microsoft, their partnership, things that are happening, and a lot within the recruiting realm. There is a ton of stuff that's happening with LinkedIn that really separates it, but there's still this confusion of what's going on, and those that have been on LinkedIn have felt that, especially with the big changes that they've made and some frustrations that have been felt with that. But it is just one of those tools within your networking toolbox. And just to plug in my, the new company I'm working with as well, with the networker, that tool is going to be used at a very local level. One of the struggles that we have with LinkedIn at times is it feels more of what I like to call the ozone level, which is it's up there, it's needed, but it sometimes doesn't give us this ground root connection at a very local level connection. And that's actually one of the reasons why we developed Networker, which you'll actually be seeing here within the chamber in the next little while. But it is just one of the tools that you'll be using. But it is a really cool tool, and there's a lot of cool things that are happening. So I'll give you a little bit of background, mission, and vision of LinkedIn. It's not a very, the company hasn't been around all that long. Began, of course, like most cool startups, it usually starts in some basement living room. And this one was a living room in 2002, and it was officially launched in 2003. Currently, there's over 500 million users in more than 200 countries and territories worldwide. So it's not your Facebook. Your Facebook is still your third, if it were a country, Facebook is still your third largest country in the world with what it's been. But it separates itself because of what it does, that it is the largest professional network. And if you've been on LinkedIn, every now and then you can catch a lot of flack if you'll see people that get on there and use it like a Facebook, and they'll get slammed because it is not just, hey, we're just posting funny things or whatever it is, the check-ins that happen. It's very much a professional network, which makes it a lot different, which makes it very unique, and has some really cool features that go along with that. The mission of LinkedIn is to connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. They have a pretty big idea of what they want to do and what they're striving to do. Their vision is really cool because it kind of starts to break it down as they create an economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce through the ongoing development of the world's first economic graph. I had no idea, like economic graph, are we just doing dots here? X over Y, we got run over rise, all those fun things that come with that. But looked it up, that economic graph research program they have has been set up to encourage researchers, academics, and data-driven thinkers to solve some of the most challenging economic problems of our times. And we see some of the really cool things, and a lot of stuff that you don't even see. LinkedIn is a big part of what's happening at a very global level to help drive economic growth. One of the big changes that have been made that we'll talk about just a little bit is their push towards the academic and the university component, where you can now look and really get into the schools and dive down into the different schools to be able to, what school do I want to attend, college, university, whatever it might be, and they're really pushing towards what type of education we can get. They recently purchased, yes, I am going fishing later this week, but I'm thinking of that, but it's deep sea fishing. But they recently purchased a really good tool, which is lynda.com. So they're part of that as well. Again, pushing towards this academic side of saying, can we give some really complete, valuable skills that you can learn quickly and can make you very useful. So they're doing some really cool things right now, and we actually can plug into some of that. But there's been a whole lot of change going on. And this is where people have felt the frustration. I felt the frustration with LinkedIn and what it's gone through. So in January 19th of 2017 this year, the new desktop version that rolled out it's the biggest change since the site's inception. And it was a massive overhaul. I was one of the lucky ones who I had been doing a lot of work with LinkedIn, and they called me like, hey, we'd like you to go on to this beta version as they were rolling this out. I'm like, great, this is going to be awesome. They plugged me into beta version. I'm like, put me back. I've lost all of my resources. I can't do what I used to do. And I was even at a paid level at that time. I'm like, I've lost the functionality of free level with the paid version. It was a lot of frustration. Apparently, they just didn't return my phone calls after that. They just stuck me on that new beta version, which now everybody has. So lots of big changes. So some of those big changes that you've seen is the home screen navigation. Those of you who have been involved in that. Your profiles have changed. Searching has changed completely. How network management goes on. Jobs is a big part of it. And the school search. So going back when I was in Vegas, a huge part of the attendees that were in the LinkedIn conference in Vegas were recruiters. This is by far one of the best tools that a recruiter uses. In fact, recruiters use this tool at over 90% of the time. So they're on there looking for people and headhunting for people who are looking to make a job change. Headhunting is it's not just a cannibalistic thing, but man, it is a very profitable and lucrative aspect of people going out and finding professionals and moving them to other jobs. So there's great opportunities in there if you're looking for a job, looking to way to move up, or looking for your education. So recruiters use this big time, and they pay big bucks. The recruiter aspect to pay for that premium, that high premium level, it's a whole lot of money. Some of them are paying like $5,000, $10,000 a month just to use it because of the profitability and the data that they have on there. So lots of big changes, but really what I looked at when I looked at all those changes, what it really meant in the reality were more functions are hidden. I had to dig through and click on seemingly unrelated areas to find things. I'm like, where in the world is this? Groups was a good example. I'm like, where did my groups go? Oh, they're under, and I'll show you some cool things with that and where it's at. Many popular features were eliminated and less functionality on free accounts, and even paid premium accounts received less functionality. They've added a few more things back. They scaled back a lot, and they put a few more things in. But there's a big change, but there are some cool things, and so now the reality of it is deal with it. There it is. They're one of the big boys, but not just deal with it. We're actually going to deal with it and actually use LinkedIn effectively, even at a very local level and what it can do for you. So when we start looking at it, the first thing that I like to talk about is just starting with the profile. A huge part of LinkedIn is there is a ton of functionality on there. My goal today is to give you some very specific tips and tricks that you can use that you can start getting results. I like the results kind of thing. So here's some specific things that you can do. And the thing that I see that's often overlooked the most in LinkedIn is starting out with the profile. The profile section has changed, but the importance of the profile still to me remains as the #1 feature that you have total control of on LinkedIn. And a lot of people just overlook that because there's often a lot of information that needs to be put in your profile. But your profile is that first impression. If it gives people that opportunity to say, hey, I would like to connect with them, I want to learn more about them. But the flip side of it is you have to be super careful because it can't all of this be I, me, this is how great I am, this is all the fun, how cool everything that I've done. And the one thing that you cannot do and do not do, and if any of you have this right now, just go ahead and take your profile offline and fix it. Do not speak in third person. That is the dumbest thing, okay? I mean, that's like, for those of you who remember, like Bob Dole, way back when in the election theories, he'd be talking about himself. He's like, well, Bob Dole thinks that we're going to lower taxes, and Bob Dole says, I'm like, dude, you're Bob Dole. Just say I, okay? We do not talk in third person, okay? It is not professional. I think at one point in time they taught that as like, third person is professional, and they still teach it, and granted I teach at the university, and they still teach a lot of academic courses that you should never use first person. No, you should, okay? Because we deal with people. and we don't deal with third-person people who are the people that you're talking to. It's just so weird. Just say I. This is what I do. This is what I like. And it's great because that's how we want to connect with people. That's the beauty of what social media is about. It's about the social component. So knock off the third person. Again, if I've offended you at the third person, just there's a good chance I will offend somebody here. I can't help it. But let's start off with the profile. So I want to show a couple things that can help you, some tools and tips and tricks to help you with your profile. Now, this is not about a game of perfection. I'm far from being perfect. Last time I checked, I walked out in a pool, I sunk. I'm not there yet. It's not about perfection. But it's about continuous improvement. And it's looking for things that work, looking for that comfort level that you're at, because everybody feels a little bit more comfortable doing certain things, saying certain things. So this is a game of improvement that we work on. Your profile is one of those things, okay? So what we're going to look at here is, okay, what's me in a nutshell? What is it, who am I, and what is it that I should be doing? So when we look at our profile, there's a few things that have changed here that are extremely important. The profile page has changed. When you click on your profile up in the corner of LinkedIn, it brings you to your profile page. And there are some things here that are extremely important that you need to look at. Of course, the first one here is the picture of you. And this is one that when I'm bored, I can't sleep at night, one of the fun things I like to do is jump on any type of social media and try to figure out what profile pictures are. And then I judge people based off of their profile picture. Not in a bad way, but it's just fun. It's like a game. I'm like, what's wrong with this person? What is that? I love profile pictures, and I'm like, what? Is that a tree and a chicken and I don't know, in a car wreck? What happened there with that profile picture? Okay? Human psychology says that your picture of you is one of the most important first impressions that you can make. And not just any picture. People like people who are smiling. It has been shown that when somebody smiles, there's a degree of trust that's instantly established. Okay? So if you've got one of those like tough guy pictures, like you're just like looking real hard and tough, or something like that's the tough guy picture I was thinking of right there. It's kind of like, they're too tough for me. I don't want to get to know them. Okay? So if you got or the pouty lips one, I love those. You see those all the time. So gals, if you're like trying to, hey, here's my lips. Okay, the duck face thing or whatever. You still see that. I mean, we all make fun of it, but like people still do it, and I think they really think it works. Like I don't know what they think it works for. But it's super simple. You know, you don't have to have a professional headshot of anything, but at least just smile, face the camera, and don't be like so far back there that it's like, what is that? Is that something on a toothpick? What is that? Oh, that's their head. You know, it's simple. You've got to make a really good first impression, and it's an easy thing to do. We've all got the camera phones. We can flip it around. You can take lots and lots of pictures, you know. My wife, I know when we're doing things, she does stuff off her Instagram. I have to take like 30 pictures because she has this ability to close her eyes right when I take a picture. It's absolutely amazing. Like, snap. Like, how did you do that? You didn't even know it doesn't even click anymore, but she does it. So you can take lots of pictures, find something, simple headshot, but it's amazing what a smile will do. It does create that bond of trust, and if relationships are built off of trust, why not go ahead and start out that whole aspect of building trust? Next thing, make sure you got a name up there of what you do as well. Start filling out the information, who you are. This part right here, where you get into it, you can drop it down. This talks a lot about of who you are, what you do. And I'm going to give you some tools and some resources that you can do to kind of develop that, but there's actually quite a bit that can go into that. Now, one of the things that you need to look at is it's not the I, me, but it does need to be able to say, what type of problem do you solve? And it has a more of a personal tone to it. It doesn't always have to be heavy duty, all professional. Most of the writing that we do, especially in the world of social media. Again, here we go, professional level. We've gone to school. We've taken all these classes, and we have to use words that have at least 4 or 5 syllables or something like that. It's been shown when on the readability scale, Google's huge on this. If you want to start ranking well in content that you write at a 6th and 7th grade level. Make it easy. Use paragraphs. Use 2 to 3 sentences for a paragraph. Use headings. We like to skim and scan. We don't like to try to figure out, and nor do we like to read papers, any type of paper that's just like all bunched together with big syllables and everything else. Write creatively. Use, it's a 6th and 7th grade level. And Google's put that out. They've shown that their readability scale that they're looking for high rankings in SEO is based off a 6th and 7th grade level of writing. They just want things that are clear, easy to understand. We don't want to try to guess and try to figure out what people are saying. So write and use a little bit of who you are. It doesn't always have to be. Some people are a little bit more serious. Some people are a little bit more lighthearted. But you're still looking at a problem solution type of thing. If somebody were to read that, they would say, oh, that would solve a problem that I have. Okay, so don't try to go so broad and everything else, but also make it so it's enjoyable. And I'll give you some tools and resources for that. Now, one of the ways that you can help with this is they do have an all-star status here, and it just doesn't, that's not like, hey, I'm an all-star, you know, and awesome. It's a guide for you to look at, have I filled out enough of my information? Because they want to know all that information. Now, one thing that LinkedIn does want, they want your information. And if you're freaked out about that, you're already screwed because Facebook already has all of your information. So it doesn't matter that you're giving some more information here to LinkedIn. Google, Facebook, they've all got your information. They know where you are. They know where you sleep. Big Brother is there. NSA, Google, Facebook, they're all the same, okay? They know us. So fill out your information. Go through that, and this will be a guide to help you with everything that you need to do. Completely fill out everything that you can. And don't exaggerate. If you don't have something, it's okay to leave it blank. But if you have something, the other part that I find with a lot of people is we get to this level of commonality, what we think is just, well, that's just common. That's just common knowledge. That's just, no, it's not. All of you possess knowledge that is not common to everybody else. But because you're in that industry, because you're familiar with it, you're just like, well, everybody knows that. Everybody knows that you should do this. Everybody knows, you know, what those dimensions are. Everybody knows that a good Instagram picture is, you know, 900 by 900 pixels. Or you can go up to 1080 by 1080, and everybody knows that, right? No. But because you're around it so much and you're dealing with it, it feels common to you. So you got to step back and look at who you are and what you feel is common that could be valuable to somebody else. And again, problem solution type of thing. So that's one of the big things that you can do is really focus on this. Now the other part is up here in the heading side of things is there's a picture. There's a place for a picture. Again, going to the psychology of this, the visual component is so powerful in what we do. It's been shown and proven that in the world of Twitter, when you add an attachment, a picture in Twitter, you're more likely to get about 313% more exposure and someone interacting with it than if you didn't have a picture. So pictures are extremely powerful. We're very visual people. So pick a heading up there that conveys a little bit of who you are. I'm in the tech space, so hey, that's technology. I like that stuff. So at least give something there. It's visual. It's appealing to what is it that we do. I'll give you some tools of how to do that fairly easy. Overall, you've got some other things as you click on your profile. You can look at articles that you've written. You can look at followers that you have. This can give you the check-in of everything else. But none of that does any good unless you have some type of interaction and that people are wanting to connect with you. So start with your profile. So these are some of the resources that I love. Now, I have emailed this to Susie, and I believe she's going to put it up on the website, so you'll have access to the PowerPoint and to the PDF file, but feel free to snap some pictures, whatever you would like. Or you can get with me. I'll be more than happy to email you this, whatever is it that you want. But take some notes if you want. But these are some of the profile tools and resources that can totally help you. This by far, again, this is one of my common knowledge ones, which I always feel is common knowledge. That number one, Canva. Canva is awesome. It's been around for a long time. And it gives you all of the dimensions that you need for all social media networks. Like, oh, I need a header for my LinkedIn profile. It will actually give you the template, and you can drag and drop pictures. You can crop stuff in there. You can add all sorts of things. Super easy. You do not have to be a Photoshop pro. You just drag and drop stuff. Now, you're like, well, now I got to get a picture. Hey, guess what? Pixabay and Pexels give you free pictures, some good stock photos, and they're growing and they're getting bigger and bigger. So you can always find stuff in those places and just drag it right into Canva. It doesn't cost anything. It saves it there for you. You can go back and change it, do lots of things so that you can continue to add photos. So those are some great tools that I use that really enhance people wanting to connect with you, because if they think you're a weirdo, they're not necessarily going to want to connect with you. If you want to grow your network, you've got to make a good presentation, and it starts with your profile. The last one is a little template. It's called 5 Templates That Will Make Writing the Perfect LinkedIn Summary of Reads. This comes from themuse.com. I've shortened the whole Google thing there. But again, you'll have this, or if you want to look it up there, you can look at it, and it's a Z-I, by the way. I think that's a capital I at the end of that. But again, it's just a template that you can use that can help you with writing out your LinkedIn profile and things that you can do. And it gives you different examples, maybe depending on your industry and what is it that you're looking to do. So that's a great tool for you right there. The next thing that you want to do is, with anything that deals with social media, is you want to be able to create value. So again, we got to get away from this me thing. Even though your LinkedIn profile, it is who you are, but it's not really just who you are, it's what value can you provide. And sometimes it may be outside of your realm, but I want to share something with you that deals with this. And I love this. This is a great video. Those of you that have been in Corporate Alliance have seen this video before, so good refresher. They say that repetition is the mother of skill, so you're going to get some skills here. But it's called Jab, 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 Right Hook. It's by a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk. And I'll just warn you, if you like look him up and you follow him on stuff, he likes to use colorful words on things. So be careful if you're just like, hey, I'm going to watch some Gary Vaynerchuk on this, and you got it cranked up. It's not always going to be, he's just kind of, he's from Brooklyn area, and he's got that accent, and he can swear like the best of them at times. But this one is a really good one. He actually writes really good books as well. They're not all full of swear words. So I want to share this quick video with you.
Bill asks, what's the best way for a right hook to seem like a jab?
Bill, am I happy with you? Because you've asked a question that means so much to me and is something that so many of you are confused by. Bill, I really appreciate you, and I'm not trying to sting, but it might feel a little like that. Trying to make a right hook feel like a jab is what 99% of salespeople and businesses do that end up failing. It is in the clear honesty and clear track of when I want to do something nice for you, I just do it. A la this show. I just want to take 15 to 20 minutes of my day to share the God-given wisdom and the work experience, and I want all of you to watch it, and I want this in return. Now, come 15 months from now, 18 months from now, whether it's a book, whether it's a seminar, whether it's an event, whether it's me selling rare toys, who knows what it might be, then I will clearly say, buy this friggin' rare toy. It's $9.99, buy it now. But up until that point, I will have very clear, there will be no show where you're watching the show and behind the scenes right now, there's subliminal music pumping, buy the damn cat for $9.99. There is none of that. And so there's a massive confusion in the marketplace, Bill, that people want to disguise the sale, and there is no disguise. Authentically, all in, all in. Give when it's time to give. On the flip side, There's a crap load of Mother Teresa's and think it's so nice and awesome, and if you're just good, it's good. No, you need to sell. So when you sell, you say, I'm selling. I am selling this, and I feel comfortable. When I put a link out, buy my book. It's out. Buy it. If I've done anything for you, buy it. So the answer to your question is very simple. There is no version of that. That is a losing mentality in execution, and I highly recommend that you take it and you split it very hard apart where the jabs are clear and where the right hooks are clear.
I mean, it's pretty easy in the sense of, hey, you know, that's what you got to do. And social media is a great place to do that at. And so when we look at what we're trying to do in adding value, there's different ways that we can add value on LinkedIn. One of the ways is you write good content. And so if you're going to create content, the content is to make people better. There's a new trend out there, which I really like, which is give away all the secrets. Because all the answers are there anyway. If you want to know anything, you can Google it. The problem is we're all pretty busy. I don't know, is anybody here like not busy? Anybody here like, hey, yeah, there you go. Mary's like, hey, life's pretty good. I just had some chicken. Things are good. Okay? Most of us are pretty busy. And so the thing is we don't have time. I can tell you everything that I know about social media. I don't have a problem with that. I can tell you the secret tools I use and all these little things. But what I do know from you is you're busy and you're like, I don't have time for that. So why don't I pay you to do that? Oh, okay, yeah, we can do that as well. But here's everything that I'm doing. I'll give you all my secrets. So that's where we're at with things. And so when you write good content, your content has got to be like none of these teasers like, and if you want to know more, contact me. No, here's everything that there is. This is how you do it. This is the steps. And pretty soon people will start to say, oh man, that's some valuable stuff. I trust you because you're giving away good value. The other thing is maybe you don't have to write content. You can share and curate content. Okay? I'm pretty busy, so I don't have time to write content. But what I do like to do is I love finding cool content and sharing it. So those of you who follow me on LinkedIn, you'll find stuff that I'm reposting all the time. Here's an awesome article. Here's something here. I love to share good content. And what it does for you still as the individual is people still look like, hey, you know, you're still smart because you found good content. That's how they view you on things. And it also helps you because if you're sharing content, which means you're reading content and you're learning more, there's a cycle to that. The other thing that you can do is join a group or participate in it. Okay? Other things too, real quick, on these other two things on the writing content, sharing content. The other thing is maybe even responding to content. People love to know that you're reading what they're writing. Respond to it. Hey, I really appreciate that. That's really good. In fact, I did this, this, and this, and that helped me with this. Oh, that reminds me of this. I appreciate it. Not just like, great article. Good job. I really like this. Who cares? Okay, it's just, a lot of times we look at those as probably, that's probably just somebody's autoresponder. Got locked in there. Give some depth to it. Respond to people, and then all of a sudden, what does that do? It's like, oh, wait a minute. Now I create dialogue. And from dialogue, now I start to create a relationship. I get to know people for who they are. The other one is join a group or participate in it, but first you need to find the groups because that's one of the changes. So a couple things here in the groups. Again, the obscure things. So if you go to your LinkedIn profile, at the very top, under work is where you're going to go. So you actually click on the work icon up there, and then there's groups. To me, that does not make sense. Work, and then I'm thinking other things, but they've stuffed the groups in there, and that's where you can click on the groups. Now, another big change that's taken place with some of this. Well, let's talk about a couple of these resources real quick. So when you're adding value, these are the takeaways. So this is what you can do right now to start adding value on social media and on LinkedIn. So there's a 12 content writing secrets of professional writers from Quick Sprout. It's got some great information of things that you can use on there. I like to use some cool software. One of the things that I believe in is the idea of automate to engage. So I have a lot of things that are automated in my social media. A lot of people are like, whoa, hey, Brendan just posted something right now. How did he do that? He's up here presenting. I use tools that create automation that can respond or not respond, but can post different things out there, and I'm looking for the engagement. Then if somebody engages with it, now I can respond. So I automate to engage. I like to simplify my life. A tool that I use is a paid tool, which is called Blue Page Pro. You just have to Google it, but it's got some great things that you can set up. You can curate content, find content, set it up on an auto response or an auto poster. You can post to different things. It can keep track of it for you. Or you can use another tool like Buffer, which I also use at times, that you can just find good content, load it in there, and just automate it. And just keep it there. Because a big part of what we do on social media, which makes it tough at times, is you feel like, man, I've got to do this all the time. You don't. If you can use the right tools, you don't have to be in front of your social media all the time. It can be a part of your day, so now you can use a tool that's posting stuff. Oh, now there's some engagement. Now I can respond, and now I can start from there. So Buffer's a good one, and of course the book, the Jab, 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 Right Hook, really gets in this idea of what is it that I can do, I can continue to give. And that does go against us, and I will tell you this, and some of you have heard this from me, the hardest part with this idea of giving is I still got to pay the bills. But you got to remember the part that there's a time when you ask. The problem that I see a lot of times, especially on LinkedIn, is people connect with me and they'll message me and they're like, right off the bat, they throw me a pitch. I'm like, great, unfriend you, don't really care, don't respond to you. Okay? I'll show you some cool things that I've used in the past that have worked for me, and again, it created those relationships. Now, this can happen at a very local level as well. So what happens here is like when you meet people, you can say, oh, hey, let's connect on LinkedIn. It gives you another connecting point. One of the tools I love reason why I love LinkedIn is you meet somebody face-to-face, that gives you one level of connection. I've met them face-to-face. Oh, now I connect with them online at a LinkedIn level, which is still a business professional level. Now, you can move into a Facebook level, but sometimes that feels like it's crossing the boundaries. We don't always like to share and connect with people that are in the business world with our Facebook stuff. Okay? So that LinkedIn gives you another level of connection, which creates another level of trust. And again, you can keep track of people, you can see some of the things that are important to them, and you can use that and grow with that. So that's some great tools that happen with that. Now, when you start connecting with people, the last thing I want to really talk about is this idea of connecting with a purpose. So we don't just go out here and connect with people. Now, I have a lot of connections on my LinkedIn. I don't know everybody, but I connect for different reasons than what you will connect with. So it's not always about a numbers game. And the thing with LinkedIn is all about reciprocation. So if you go to my Twitter profile, I've got like 50-something thousand followers, and maybe I only follow like 20-something thousand. So I have a pretty big difference that happened there. You go to my Instagram, I've got 20-some-odd followers, and I follow like 4,000. But in LinkedIn, it's a reciprocation process. It's a follow for a follow that comes into play with that. Unless you're a bigwig, then you can actually follow people and not necessarily have to be connected with them. You can follow what's happening with them if they're some bigwig guru of some sort. But most of the time, it's a one for a one. And so when you connect with people, you got to connect with purpose. And first, I got to figure out what that purpose is. So at this level and at a local level, it's really just getting to know people. A great example we just recently here. Somebody saw him presenting. Dennis was here, and he saw that I'm presenting. And so what does he do? He connects with me before the presentation and asks me some questions, and we're going to talk about some social media stuff. But it created a new level of connection that now when we came here, all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, wait a minute. We also have a different level of relationship and trust because of the initial connection. And that can happen in reverse. You come here, you meet with somebody, and then you take some time to connect with them on a LinkedIn level. It adds another level, like, oh, wait a minute. They took time to connect with me. There's something that's there. Okay. And again, we can see a little bit more what's happening on a business level. So connecting with the purpose is a big part of it. When you go onto your LinkedIn account, it'll give you some people to who you should be connecting with. But one of the big things that changed with LinkedIn is how do I find certain people? Like I want to meet certain types of people. So what do? Well, that changed a lot with what you could do in LinkedIn. And so LinkedIn really started pushing towards what they call Boolean searches. And you're looking at what is a Boolean search? What's the Boolean look like? If you're in the programming and the computer world and the math world, it's like, oh yeah, isn't that common knowledge, Boolean? We all know what that is. Okay? But I'll show you a little bit what that is. But what you can do is you can find people that you can connect with, look it through that as well. But in the search bars where it really a lot of things start to change. And so a Boolean is a word, a keyword that's used that creates different types of searching mechanisms that happen. So you can say, in the world of in programming and everything else, we say, I want this to happen, and if this happens, then this will happen. But if this doesn't happen, then this needs to happen. Or when I say this, I want to meet you and you, or I want to meet you or you. Okay, there's ands, there's ors, so it gives us a way that we can search based off of specific terms. And this is where you do it. So up here at the very top of the search box, most everything now is run in LinkedIn at the search box. And so now you can start using these Boolean principles, and I'll give you a little cheat sheet here of where you can find the different Boolean searches and go. So if I want to meet CEOs, and they're also in Utah, at least that's somewhere in their profile, I can just type in CEO in Utah. It can give me the top results. I can look at specific people. I can look at jobs. I can look at companies. So I can click on each one of those headings at the top, and it can show me some different levels that happen. The other thing is they added a little bit more to the side. They actually at one time took this away, and they brought it back so that you can dive down a little bit further. But you can look at your connections. First level connection is you've made a connection with them. A second level connection is I've connected with you, and you've connected with somebody, but I haven't connected with them. That would be a second level. Okay? Third level is just further back. And that's about as far as they want you to. You can get a little bit further back on some of them, and if you're lucky enough, you can find Kevin Bacon back there at 6 degrees. I'm aging myself, dating myself with like jokes about Kevin Bacon and stupid stuff. Okay, so you can find some different keywords, so you can break it down a little bit more, but a lot of what you'll find here is right up there using the Boolean type of search words that come into play, and that's a super. So again, who do I want to connect with? Who do I want to find? Who do I want to learn about? The other big part of LinkedIn is it's not always about connecting. There's a huge part of just pure education. There is so much cool information that's in LinkedIn. You can use it as a resource, as a library. You want to learn about something cutting edge. You want to learn about some things that are happening. What's happening in the world of your industry? LinkedIn's going to have it. Maybe you want to follow a specific industry. You can go and find that specific industry. You can follow that company and look at it. Maybe you want a new job at that company someday. You can now go into that company, find who works in that company. You can actually see things that are written about the company, so they're using it as a recruiting page. You can look at, they're starting to add the profile, they're starting to add what that company's like, and now you can actually go in and connect with people and say, hey, I'm interested in your company. I would like to know, what's your perspective on it? What's your viewpoint on the company? So you can start getting in and connecting with people about other things. Oh, you're going to this university? Hey, I would like to know more. What's been your experience? So again, it's creating this experience that's happening at a lot of different levels. But this is where you started out, is right in there. So connecting tools and resources, the Boolean search, right off LinkedIn gives you a whole thing. So that's going to be your go-to of looking at the different types of Boolean search on LinkedIn, from LinkedIn. Another tool that I love using that a lot of people haven't heard about, and it sounds crazy, is this crazy free tool called Duck Soup. Duck Soup is an extension. You have to use it in your Chrome browser. It is free. They do have a paid version, and you have to, pay attention to what you're doing. But a lot of times in LinkedIn, people can see. You can see like 4 or 5 people who have looked at your profile. That's one way to create a little bit of engagement. Duck Soup will go through. If I type in CEO in Utah, and then once I've got that in there and I click Duck Soup on there, it'll actually go and scan and look at all these profiles of people. It'll do it automatically, and then when they pop up, it'll be like, hey, Brendan looked at your profile. Well, I'm going to click on Brendan. Who's Brendan? Oh, and then I see that they looked at my profile, and I'm like, hey, here's a level that we can now start a connection. You saw me, I saw you, you saw me. Let's have a little discussion. So it's a little cheater way of doing it, but it's one of the ways that you can do it that helps automation. How do I automate to engage? If you're in B2B, that's a great way. If it's in B2C, it's still a thing where maybe it's not just, you're looking for specific people or things where you can start to build these relationships. It's a super simple cheater tool that I like to use. Okay, so when you do it and you use Duck Soup, what it does is there's an extension up here. So I type in like CEO in Utah. I'll click on this little thing up here. Actually, it's a picture of a duck that looks like this. I have no idea what the relationship of it. And I just hit visit profiles. And it'll go through and just start visiting profiles of those people. So now you're going to think like, hey, Brendan visited my profile. Oh, wait, I used duck soup. Freaking idiot. Okay. I don't use duck soup, by the way. With anybody in here, I never use duck soup. All right. So the next one gets into the responding side of it. We're almost done here. Responding messages using Calendly or Meet Me program to schedule a get-to-know-you call. This has been something that was done to me that I'm like, hey, that was kind of awesome. And I've used it and I've had some success. So I'm going to kind of show you what this means. So Calendly is just an online calendar scheduler or Meet Me. So this is a little bit blurry because I took it out of my messages here. But I had this guy that says, hey, he doesn't spell my name right because we don't know each other well. He's called me Brandan, okay, which is close. I just tell people it's Brenda with an N, but okay. But he says, hey, thanks for connecting. Thanks for the connection, Brendan. Hope 2016 is a sensational year for you. What do you have in the pipeline? It probably could have been a responder that he did out there, but I responded with this. Now, that's a loaded question. You know, one of my goals is to make better connections here on LinkedIn. I believe there's a ton of value from networking with smart and talented people. And I actually stole this from somebody who did it to me. If you're open to it, I'd like to schedule a time to connect personally so I can learn more about you and your company and can tell you more about ours. No sales pitches, though, just an open, honest discussion, discover more about each other. There it is. Hope to hear from you soon. Brendan, hey, would like that. 9:30 a.m. Wednesday morning. Best number to reach me on? Yeah. Called him, chatted, and we still stay in touch. Got some cool things. You know, he's in South Africa. We don't have and he actually was visiting here, did some things, does some international work. But there's some cool things, and that led into some other things. I got to know him, and hey, you got to go talk to someone. And I've done this numerous times, but it's not about, hey, I'm calling to give you the sales pitch. Let's just call and get to know each other. Similar to what we do here at the different networking events. Similar like when we do our, round tables that we've done at the corporate alliance events, or as you go to BNI and you do your one-on-ones, or you hear chambers, you're visiting with people, you're laughing, and you're getting to know people for who they are. That's where that starts. It doesn't just start like, hey, I'm Brendan. I do some social media. Would you like, I charge, $5,000 an hour, and I can really help you. I know you need some help. And I hear your commercials all the time on the television, and, and you're a really good golfer, and, okay. So we don't go there. Okay. We start out with that. So download, you respond using that, and then download and use the LinkedIn apps. We're starting to see that more and more people are responding and using the LinkedIn app. And there's multiple LinkedIn apps. You have the LinkedIn app, but there's also the Groups app as well that you can download, that you can just plug in and use your groups that you can go in as well. Kind of conclusion-wise, so again, the conclusion, LinkedIn is only one tool in your toolbox. Lots of other things. This is only one component. Again, networker will be your other component. Build out your all-star profile. Create some value with jabs before right hooks. Connect to build trust. Use the right tools and resources. Leverage third party to make your networking more efficient and effective. Because the real purpose of networking, online or face-to-face, is to build relationships of trust. And once you build trust, you can build a sustainable business. No trust, no business. Okay? And I'll end it with that. Don't be jealous. Okay? All right. Any questions? Right out of time. We ended it right on the 1 o'clock time. Question? The average person on LinkedIn, I think the valuable thing is it's the education. There are so many just resources in the sense of like articles and just the information that is posted on there, that they're just great, valuable content. You may not be one that's comfortable posting and everything else. It could just be a great library for you, just to find people, your industry, looking at very specific things, just following along. You join a group, but you just kind of follow along with it. Information is a huge part, is very valuable for the majority of people that jump on LinkedIn. Any questions? Yeah. Premium account gives you a few other searches, and there's different levels. There's with the I think the next premium, the next level is like $50 a month, or maybe they've raised it $100 and $150 a month. But it gives you a little bit better way of finding searches and finding people. It also allows you to see all the people that view your profile. The free account only shows you like 4 people, and then it's like does these little things like, and this people in this industry, this many people from this company have viewed your profile, and you're like, oh, who is it? You know, who's looked at me? But with the next level up, you get to see everybody that's viewed your profile, which again allows you to go back and connect with them. That in itself is pretty valuable. But a lot of what we do, it's pretty expensive. And then the recruiter platforms where you can actually get in and save stuff, and you can, a lot of data that goes in there, but you're looking at thousands of dollars there. Any questions? Okay. What? So there's a couple ways of doing that. You can create multiple profiles on LinkedIn, although it comes across as weird for some people because they're like, wait a minute, I just saw them on here, I saw them on here. And you'll often get connections with people because of an email. It's looked at some of your emails like, hey, you should connect with Brendan at this email address that I haven't used in a long time. And so you can create multiple connections, but a lot of what you can do is you can create, again, depending on the industry, you can create one profile that creates a lot of where you're at industry-wise, and you can divide it up that way. If it feels like it doesn't flow well, you can create 2. But I would always say, hey, this is my other profile. Let people know so that they find you on one and find you on the other. It's like, oh, they know that I know that you actually have a couple profiles because this one deals with this industry and this one deals with this industry. The hard part, again, with that is as you split and you create 2, then you have 2 things to take care of. Is there a way that you could bring them together and combine it so that it doesn't feel, it's like, that goes against this or goes against that. So, any other questions? Okay, I think we're out of time. We appreciate it. Looks like Susie's coming up here for something.